Hey guys, John T. Hickmet here. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to speak about how catastrophizing thoughts are not the enemy that they're often made out to be. So, if you're struggling with a chronic condition, back pain, stomach pain, pelvic pain, fatigue, migraines, anxiety, whatever it is, you probably have heard or read or learnt that catastrophizing thoughts will prolong your symptoms. And I have a different take on this. I don't believe that catastrophizing thoughts will do this. Before I go on, let me just explain what I mean by catastrophizing thoughts. You probably already know, but let me just explain. So, very often when someone is struggling with some sort of chronic condition or pain in the body, during the onset of that symptom, catastrophizing thoughts will start to spiral. They'll start to go, oh no, this is terrible. They'll start to feel really afraid, really frustrated. Is this going to last forever? And that thought process alone can last the whole day and feel very debilitating for people. So naturally, people assume I need to stop having these thoughts in order for things to get better. It's the thoughts that are the problem. It's the emotions that are prolonging these symptoms. But I teach something different. I actually teach people to truly understand the science of why pain is being created in the body by the mind. The mind creates chronic conditions in the body because we're repressing emotions. So the mind says, I'm going to purposely give you symptoms in the body to get you to acknowledge emotions and learn to allow them to be there. And people will hear this and they'll go, okay, I need to find this like hidden emotion that my mind is trying to get me to feel. And once I find this hidden emotion that I'm repressing, then I'll no longer have pain. The emotion that your mind is trying to get you to feel is not hiding. It's there in plain sight. It's the very emotions that you're feeling towards your symptoms. The catastrophizing thoughts that you're having towards any condition, any pain that you're having, the emotions coming with those catastrophizing thoughts, those are the emotions your mind wants you to feel. Those are the emotions your mind not only wants you to learn how to feel, but also learn how to allow. So when you learn to push back against catastrophizing thoughts and have a different mindset, all you're gonna do is suppress emotions. You're just gonna do the very thing that got you into this mess in the first place. When I was suffering with stomach pain and back pain, for ages I thought I need to stop having catastrophizing thoughts and then things will get better. But as much as I try to push away these thoughts, they will persist. It was this constant fight, and then all of a sudden, I began to become afraid of the catastrophizing thoughts. And the whole thing was just an issue. I could never get rid of the catastrophizing thoughts. Then I began to learn, actually, these catastrophizing thoughts are here for a reason. They're bringing along fear, they're bringing along with it frustration. Maybe I need to learn how to acknowledge these emotions and allow them to be here. Easier said than done. That's why during any process to get relief from symptoms in the body, you'll often be taught to meditate or journal or have some sort of therapy, because those tools provide the safe space to truly allow you to allow the presence of emotions. In an ordinary moment in life, you may be watching this going, all right, John T, catastrophizing thoughts are coming up for me right now. What do I do? How do I acknowledge this? How do I allow myself to feel these thoughts that they're not really nice. It's not nice for them to be here. That's why learning to meditate and learning to journal properly is so important. People often think with meditation, it's about trying to relax. And then they close their eyes and meditate, and it's a shit show. They're full of restlessness and doubt and fear, and they're doing everything but relaxing in the meditation. And then they open their eyes and they think, wow, I can't meditate. I didn't do it properly. I guess it's not for me. That's not the intention of meditation. The intention of meditation isn't to relax. It's to learn how to acknowledge what's arising for you and allow it to be there. And when you approach meditation in that way, you close the eyes and it's a shit show. It's always going to be a shit show in meditation. You'll notice restlessness. You learn to acknowledge it. You learn to allow it to be there. You learn to allow yourself to feel restless. Then you notice you're feeling fear. You notice it and learn to allow it to be here. And then you do the same with frustration and doubt and overwhelm, whatever it is, whatever discomfort arises for you in meditation, you learn to acknowledge it and you learn to allow it to be here. It's not so comfortable, but what you're doing in meditation is learning how to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Because when you can get good at feeling uncomfortable in meditation, that better prepares you for when you inevitably will feel uncomfortable during an ordinary moment in life. So back to catastrophizing thoughts. When you learn how to acknowledge and allow the presence of something like fear or something like frustration during a meditation, in an ordinary moment in life when you're having a catastrophizing thought towards a symptom, you suddenly go, okay, I'm not going to push these thoughts away. I'm not going to be convinced by the story of these thoughts anymore. I'll get into that in a moment. I'm just going to let myself be afraid. I'm going to let myself be frustrated. And what you notice happens all of a sudden, and this is a skill, it takes time to learn, you begin to realize that you'll allow your fear to be here. It will feel heavy for a couple of moments. It will feel intense, and then it will pass. You'll allow your frustration to be here for a couple of moments, and then it will pass. And all of a sudden, instead of trying to push back against catastrophizing thoughts, you're now learning to just acknowledge the emotions, allow them to be here in the body. You've gotten good at getting comfortable being uncomfortable because of the meditation you've been doing. The thoughts come and go, the emotion comes and goes, and all of a sudden the symptoms as well feel easier. Because the reason the symptoms are there is because you're not acknowledging and allowing the emotion arising for you. But now you're doing that. Now you're going, hey, catastrophizing thoughts, you can be here. I'm going to let you be here. It's totally fine. I see that I'm feeling afraid. I understand why I'm feeling afraid. What if I decided I could just feel fear? Your mind goes, oh, Jonty's letting himself feel the emotion. He's allowing the fear. He's allowing the frustration. I guess we don't have to give him symptoms. We'll ease the symptoms back. And this was mind-blowing to me. When I suddenly realized all I've ever needed to do was just let myself feel the emotions coming with the catastrophizing thoughts, let myself feel fear, let myself feel frustration. It was crazy. The emotion would feel big for a moment and then it would pass. Maybe it would come back again and then it would pass. And also the symptoms just wouldn't feel as difficult anymore. It just felt a bit easier. And doing that, I more naturally arrived in a place of optimism and resilience. I more naturally realized that, oh, the story of the catastrophizing thoughts, this is going to last forever, and I'm a victim, and this is terrible, and why me? The story, if we convince ourselves by the story of that, if we attach ourselves to that, if we identify with the story of the emotions, we'll struggle, because we'll think, I'm feeling fear, therefore I'm a fearful person. I'm feeling overwhelmed, therefore I'm an overwhelmed person. I'm feeling hopelessness, therefore I'm a hopeless person. If we convince ourselves, if we attach ourselves to the thoughts and emotions, we'll struggle. If instead, through meditation, through journaling, through guidance, you learn that regardless of the story, it doesn't matter that the story is telling me I'm terrible, I'm just going to let this part of me feel fear. It's saying all the reasons it's afraid, and I'm not going to convince myself that that's who I truly am. I'm just going to let it be afraid. We do this with happiness. We don't try and explain why we're happy. We let ourselves feel happy. We do this, obviously it's a lot easier to do this with nice emotions, but the same goes for fear and frustration. If we can learn to just go, okay, there's a part of me that's telling me all the reasons I should be afraid. I'm not going to convince myself by the story of it, but I am going to let this part of me be afraid. There's a wonderful film that depicts this called Inside Out. It's a Pixar film. And it shows, if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert, it shows the inside of a little girl. She has all these different emotions represented by little characters, and there's a joyful part and a sad part and an angry part. And the moral of the story, the film, is that because the whole film, the joyful part is trying to make the sad part feel less sad. But the moral of the story is you need to just let the sad part feel sad. You need to just let the angry part feel angry. And that's actually what's good for the little girl. That's what's good for the girl that's being represented in the story. And that's what's good for you. Let fearful parts be afraid. Let frustrated parts be frustrated. Regardless of the story, regardless of the reasons why they're telling you to feel those emotions, just go, okay, I'm going to let myself feel these emotions. So that's my video. about catastrophizing thoughts. It's a very important topic. It's something that's often misunderstood. If you push back against catastrophizing thoughts, which many people who come to see me are doing a lot of, that will prolong the thoughts. You'll attach yourself to them. It will prolong the symptoms. If instead you learn to allow the emotions that are coming with the catastrophizing thoughts through things like meditation, journaling, some support, group work, whatever it is, you'll suddenly find that the emotions rise and fall, and the symptoms in your mind and body also feel easier. So if you have any questions about it, you can ask in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and see you soon.